Welcome to the Vlogging Pod. Tonight we are joined by Nisa Sameen, and I'm sure I just didn't do that name justice, but it is a beautiful name when she pronounces it. So again, welcome to the room. And can you pronounce your name to everyone in the room because it is a beautiful name. Oops, I hope if I undo your mic. I'm sorry.
Thank you. And the name is Naseha.
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 It is beautiful. I just suck.
No, it's a little difficult. Uh, Basically Arabic, so it's a little difficult for even in for Indians even to pronounce it.
Well, it is a beautiful name. I'm going to jump right in because there's a lot to know about you. One biggest thing is I want the room to know is that you are a data scientist changed writer. Well, data scientist jumping into writer. That should be a more of a term or phrase there. So, any ideas you want to tell us about how exactly that happened for you?
Uh, uh, I have always been interested in writing, and I have been always writing, but I guess I never had the confidence of going out and saying, yeah, I like writing and this is my work. Can somebody see it and let's go for it? But if you really like telling stories, creating the world, then you'll really do good in data science, because in data science, actually, you do the same thing. You look at the world, you create a sample size. From that sample size, you create a meaningful outcome, and then it's again very close to creating story from all the numbers and the indications that are there.
That's impressive. You obviously don't know my mindset because I suck with numbers, but I am very much impressed.
Thank you.
My privilege, my pleasure. You have to ignore me. Sometimes I mean to say one word and I get a little tongue tied. This is why I write my questions down. So, if I were to ask you what period dramas and complex characters mean to you, what would be your answer in a body of work of yours?
Uh, for me,
Mm-hmm.
characters must be complex, because that is what will hold me as a reader.
Okay.
I don't really like a character that's just plain black or white, or for that matter, has just one shade of gray. So the character should evolve with the storyline, and the it should fit in to the complexities of the stories. So if it is like basically, I like writing about old time. I mean, 50th century AD, or
Uh huh.
medieval times. So that has its own charm. That era has its own romance, and the life was. It might look very simple today, but there was a lot of complexity in that life. The life was not as easy as it seems. So things that we take for granted, like electricity and internet, it was not there. Even a letter to a neighboring state would take months to reach. So life was simple but very difficult, and that brings a level of complexities in the characters too. The way they thought, the way their life revolved around few disciplines or few rules that they made to make the society uh, livable or workable as per their terms. So, uh, while reading or writing, all these need to be taken into account for. And
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I thought you were done and I was gonna I was gonna add to that. Go ahead, please continue.
So the character should evolve or devolve right from page one to the last page.
Nice. The reason I ask is because of your book Air. I heard in a commentary on that it was very in complex characters and was in period frame. So, with the mention of Air, let's talk about the creation of the book and how it came to light for you.
So the the basic theme was very simple for Air, but it was a simple story of a princess who was just 16, and she was supposed to marry a man who was 60 years old just because two kingdoms needed an heir. And it was a conflict for this girl who between her dreams and her desire for a life full with love, passion. And then there goes this gentleman comes up who is a little, I mean, older than her father. He marries her and then tells her, listen, I don't love you. I only love my first wife, and you are just an heir. I just married you because I need an heir to the kingdom. And this is the story of this girl who was a very naive princess. And then how she becomes the queen that she never thought that she would be. The conspiracies of Jodhpur and how she fits into that. She learns and unlearns a lot of things, and it's her journey from the him. I mean, she belonged to Garhpundir, which was situated in Himalayas, and from there she moves to Jodhgarh, which is in barren desert of Rajasthan, and it's just not the physical journey; it's the journey in her mind, in her the way she evolves, or as we say, becomes complex, devolves, and gets into uh, a different. I mean, she learns how to survive and play the games of politics.
Ah.
So, so that was the basic theme. Like she was a very naive girl with just one dream to marry a Prince Charming, and then here she is. She has to survive in this kingdom, and everybody is conspiring. The husband doesn't care for her. He just needs an heir. The queen, uh, the prime queen, is kind, but she has her own agenda, and there is very very bloody past of Jodhgarh, which is filled with blood feuds, a lot of murders and conspiracies happening, and this girl has to find a way to get all she wants, to satisfy her passion, to get a way to. She's a person who says, no, okay, fine, ethics are fine, but it's my life and I have only one life. If my husband doesn't love me, I need that love and passion in my life. I'll not settle for just a loveless life.
Right. So, with your book in mind, hold on, I'm going to mute you just a second because of my feedback. There we go. I read that you like to question taboos. Could you care to explain that in your writing?
Sorry, I didn't get that. There was an echo.
I read that you like to question taboos in your writing. You care to explain?
Here is the dilemma of this girl. If she sticks, basically, the culture or the time period which I'm depicting, a wife is supposed to have only physical relationship with her husband. She's not supposed to even love anybody else. She has to wait for the one to come into her life, and that person is the one who she can have love for, or and she can have physical intimacy with. So, what happens if that person outright rejects the love? And I mean, is it fair for a woman to not seek physical intimacy if she's been rejected? And is it right for uh, the king to just marry a woman just because he needs an heir to the kingdom and not give her the love that she wants? I mean, is it right to bind a woman who really likes to have physical, who was dreaming to have a physical intimacy and love and passion in her life, to be trapped in a loveless marriage wherein the intimacy part is just to get the work done? It's just like a job without any passion involved. So basically, the characters are faced with this moral dilemma that, okay, the society says that I can't even think of another guy, forget about loving another person or being close to another person. But I'm not getting any sort of love in my life. Should I uh, get into an affair which is taboo by all sorts, and if somebody finds out, it is death penalty?
Mm.
So these are the questions that these characters face, and they keep on questioning the moral, the ethical, or the societal norms.
That makes sense. I am going to ask you a question right off the tip of my tongue because I'm looking at your website on my other computer. Can you tell me what hashtag unapologetic me means?
So I am told that I'm very, very uh, n- non-sensitive when it comes to politically being correct. So, I just speak my mind, and even this getting, I mean, people start their debut book with a very mushy rom-com. And I was like, no, it will not work for me because it doesn't move me. I mean, uh, maybe I'm a rebel. So, and this is way if I don't like certain things in society, say the evil that was there, Sati Pratha, in which a woman was burnt
Oh,
if the husband dies.
oh,
Yeah, and it happened till 1930s
oh.
in India. So you can imagine the society that we have read and seen a glimpse of it. Uh, you wouldn't even, I don't know how you can relate to it, but here, the moment a girl is born, parents start saving a lot of money, not for education, but to give her a heavy dowry so that she can marry off some rich guy.
Mm, mm.
So, these are some things that, you I mean, it's not easy for me to digest. And I keep on questioning them, and I keep on voicing my opinion like, is the guy not, I mean, why is he looking for a big hefty dowry? Like, I can't 10 kg of gold, 20 kg of gold. This is just one part of it.
Right.
So, and I'm saying, hush, this is the way society works. I said, no, maybe, but if I don't like it, I'll say it.
Well, I think it's spearheads like yourself that make a change. It's people standing up for what they believe in or disagree with that make changes. And I think your work says that too. I mean, you are very well received from what I've seen of your writing.
Thank you. And maybe there's a lot of pent up anger or questions in all a lot of people who have seen these, and they also want to. They feel the same, but at times they can't say anything. So maybe that's the reason why air is so. It was received in such a nice way.
Right.
People could identify.
So, with us talking about your work, are you able to share any details about perplexity?
Yes, this is my latest book, recently published by Lab Academia, and uh, I'll not call it an anthology, but it is a story of a town or a city called Gurgaon or Gurugram currently. Now, the beauty of this city is that it's always on the move. Uh, Whatever happens, this city seldom stops. But this story is about 3 nights in this city, 3 nights in different decades, decades apart, wherein this city stopped, and there was, uh, I mean, a historical event that was happening around. But the events that happened in this particular night, for these characters, it overshadowed the monumental change that was happening all around in the country at that time. So, this story, this novel has three parts. First part is in lockdown in 2020, wherein suddenly the country went into the lockdown due to pandemic,
Yes.
and it's a story of one uh, apartment wherein because of some reason the water of that apartment is filled with drugs, and everybody's coming face to face with their demons, and the whole night goes in that way with this apartment people trying to make sense of what is actually that they are seeing. Is it real? Is it hallucination? What has happened? The second story is set in 1947 when India was getting the freedom. It was just during the partition time, wherein riots broke out, and um, a, a, a girl was traveling from one city to another. She gets she gets stuck in this place, and then she thinks, okay, I know somebody in this city. Maybe this night I will take a refuge there. But she had no idea that there was already a plan in place in Blossom Haveli for a murder to take place. So she unknowingly walks into Blossom Haveli, wherein Arin and Shreya and all are in a very difficult situation with complex murders being planned, and then I'll not go a little into detail because that's because we really don't know whether she purposefully walked into, or it was also a part of the plan that she has to walk into that Blossom Haveli. The third story is very close to my heart. It is during 1857. It is the time of Sipahi Mutiny, the first freedom fight uh, for India. And again, for the first time in Gurgaon, there was a flag march and night curfew imposed. And the character Meher, who was a freedom fighter running away from British East India Company soldiers, uh, gets into a haunted house, Khali Dera, just to say, just that now, okay, she wanted to spend the night there because the East India Company soldiers are hunting for her and she has to find a safe refuge.
Oops,
This
sorry.
place
Hold on, sorry.
was haunted.
Sorry. I'm sorry. My timer went off. Hold on, let me pause for a second. There we go. Hold on. I'm sorry. My timer went off. We do about a 20 minutes. Don't get me wrong. We can finish this a little bit. Um, I was going to shut it off and I meant to, but I got enthralled in what you were saying. So I forgot to shut the timer. So my apologies. If you want to finish what you were saying, we can go ahead with that. So I'll unmute you here for a second. There you go.
So Meher gets into a haunted house called Khali Dera where Ajuni is she is the one who doesn't let any person survive the night there. It is her house and she doesn't want anybody there.
Ah,
So along with Meher, another couple comes in because they were also faced with a similar situation, and three of them try to survive a journey and see if they can uh, finally reach Gurgaon and Jaipur, respectively. But it's the story of that night wherein they actually come face to face with evil incarnated.
oh, wow. That sounds like a very interesting read, and I love how you've mixed stories and pull in a lot of from each dates, one being recent in 2022 or no, I'm sorry, 2020, and in the other years you pulled that. So I find that really interesting. I was looking at it as you were reading on your website for the book. So that's why I missed the alarm. I'm sorry. My apologies. I usually try to shut it off before it beeps too loud. Since we're out of time, I do want to ask you at least one more question. I had a couple more going, but we went over a little bit just talking about the books in general. But one more question for you, my final question. As the new year comes ever closer, can you tell us what's coming up for you? And I do know this is just because I did a little bit of research. I do know that you do have something work in the works with a couple other authors. If you want to elaborate about that before we head off.
We will implement in 2021, but somehow it got a little delayed because it's called an interactive novel. So the idea is the way there would be four different authors writing four different genres, and all of these would be stuck together. But the difference is, like the reader would be a co-author. So it's I'll give you an example. You're reading a para, and then it says, "Okay, what would you like to do? What would you like the protagonist to do? Would he take the assignment, or he would rather pursue his love, or he would try and travel to past to fix an error?" So that's the first loop, wherein the person can jump into different genre, and then each and every story has different level of interaction. So my piece is Heart of the Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love Titanic.
Oh my god, you are so entertaining. I could listen to you forever.
So and then each time and it's based with the social media throws a question and the reader chooses an option. Will the character choose an option A or option B? Will the bomb go off, or uh, I will save the people? So basis on that the story continues. So basically it's story in a story in a story.
That is fantastic. I really enjoyed this interview. I had a lot more questions, but you said so much about your stuff, and you really pulled me in. You seem to be, you have an opinionated nature, but I love it. I love how you're not afraid to voice your opinions in your work, how you follow through with your ideas as far as your writing and everything. To be honest with you, I'm like your biggest fan now. I would love it, and this is totally up to you. But I would love for you to come back when this latest work is out and we could just talk more about it and the other authors that are involved. I want to thank you so much for coming on tonight. Thank you, everyone who's come to listen. Have a great evening, everybody. It was a pleasure. Bye bye for now.